Hello everybody, thanks for tuning into today's video. I'm going to do another very quick winter roundup for today's video. I'm going to have a look at some of the things that I think are important for the lead up to the winter to attempt to come up with a winter forecast. So we're going to have a look at the ENSO region, see what the El Nino's doing. We're going to have a look at sea surface temperatures in the Atlantic Ocean. We're going to have a look at sunspots, solar activity, and some other things as well, snow and ice cover. Also, for a go on video though, just want to talk about the advertising. There'll usually be a video ad overlay my weather videos at GavsWeatherVids.com. Please play those videos, you'll be supporting GavsWeatherVids.com if you would do that. And please remember, you do not need to download any additional software to watch my videos. They're YouTube videos, so they should play on all computers and browsers without needing to download any additional software. For software ads, if a video ad doesn't come up and the software ad comes up instead, it gives you the option to download that software, and it's up to you if you want to download it or not, but you do not need to download that software to play any of my videos on GavsWeatherVids.com. Right then, so let's get on with the video and have a look at the situation in the oceans first of all. Now, this was the situation for the last video that I did on the 27th of September. Actually, this anomaly is for the 27th of September. The video was on the 30th of September. A couple of things we looked at. First of all was the ENSO region. The El Nino wasn't really developing. Couldn't really get a signal there through the El Nino region, the ENSO region, for what was going to happen. And for the Atlantic, I said we've got a nice tripole with the warm, cold and warm bands in the Atlantic, and this very cold, extensive cold anomaly up here between Iceland and Norway, and I said that was probably down to melting, more than anything anyway, down to melting of the Arctic ice. Well, we'll have a look at how things have developed on the latest sea surface temperature anomaly, and this is from NOAA, this is from NOAA in America. This is the sea surface temperature anomaly from the United States for the globe for the 11th of October 2012. And just looking at the ENSO region again, we can see there's been very little development here of the El Nino through the ENSO region. Hard to see much warm water rising up. I did a video about this last week, of course. It's no surprise the ENSO El Nino really is struggling just at the moment to get going, and it's very difficult here to see anything that really is suggesting even an El Nino developing through this region. There's still time, we could see that warmer water rising up through this middle part of the equatorial Pacific, but really the ENSO at the moment is neutral. The ENSO signal is neutral, and it's hard to see much of an El Nino going on in the next week or two at least. Now, having a look at the Atlantic, and we can see that again we've still got the tripole. We've got this warm area here through the tropical Atlantic, quite warm, and then we've got a cooler band here through the mid-Atlantic, and then we've still got that warm mass of water, very warm mass of water actually, to the south of Greenland and around Newfoundland. So yes, we've still got warm, colder, not cold, but colder and warm bands once again. This warm area here up around to the south of Greenland around Newfoundland is the warm AMO. The Atlantic multi-decadal oscillation is warm at the moment. It has been warm since the mid-1990s. It'll stay warm probably for another 10 or 15 years perhaps before it then swings to its cold phase. Meanwhile, the PDO is cold. Here is the cold PDO, this area here. So that's still the basic setup and will remain the basic setup as far as the oceans are concerned through this winter. Cold PDO, a warm AMO, and then ENSO. Well, will it go to El Nino or will it stay neutral? It's very hard to call this one just at the moment. And finally, this area between Iceland and Norway has warmed quite significantly actually in the last couple of weeks. If we go back to the anomaly from the 27th of September, that was it. Quite a lot of cold water there between that area from Iceland to Norway. On the latest chart, it has warmed up quite significantly, particularly to the off the coast of Norway. This is largely, I think, down to Arctic sea ice melt, so it's not really a surprise to see that once that Arctic sea ice melt is starting to move out of the system, that the ocean or the sea there is beginning to warm up once again. So having a look now at the solar cycle. This is from solarham.net. You can find solarham.net on my links page. This is the latest picture picture of the sun, our side of the sun anyway, and we can see that we have got a little bit of activity. We have seen a bit of a rise in activity over the last week, but as I've explained in recent videos, considering we're just a few months at least away from solar maximum, this is a very weak cycle. It's still remaining very weak really. These spots are well below where they should be at this point in the solar cycle. Solar cycle 24 will be a very weak cycle, nothing like the last 2 or 3 cycles, and the maximum is going to be one of the weakest for a century probably at least. And officially solar activity today is low and likely to stay that way probably for the next day or so. Now having a look at the sea ice and snow cover anomalies, this was again a situation from NOAA. Again, this website is NOAA from the United States. This was a situation on Saturday the 29th of September, a dreadful melt season in the Arctic, as I've explained in other videos. Really did see a horrible amount of sea ice melting this year, but as far as snow cover was concerned as well, we was below average here across much of Siberia, but I did say that it was early days. It doesn't really matter until we get into October and November. So now having a look at the latest chart, we can see we've seen a big increase in both ice and snow cover. Let's start with ice first of all. Here is the latest Arctic sea ice extent. We can see that we've seen a big increase if we go back. That was the situation on the 29th of September. If we go forward again to today the 13th of October, again a big increase of sea ice there from the pole and to the south again, heading down in that sort of area there. And also, don't know if you can see this, but we have got some ice now starting to form along the coast, this coastal strip here. Arctic ice is beginning to form, and that'll get thicker and gradually spread towards this area as this area expands out. The 2 areas will meet and the ice will return. And in terms of the snow cover, well, this is the latest snow cover across the field, across the Siberian field, or at least the eastern Siberian field. A big increase in snow cover here, but you would expect it, of course, eventually all of this will be covered in snow. And as far as I can ascertain, this is really still a little bit below where we should be for the 13th of October. So whilst we have seen a big increase in snow cover in the last couple of weeks, we're still actually very slightly down on where we should be at this point in October. And now we are getting to the period really where we want to see vast increases in snow cover taking place if we're looking for a cold winter, because a big increase in snow happening quickly, spreading across Siberia into western Russia. That does lay the foundations now for the cold. So it's going to be more important actually to look at the snow cover, I think, over the next month to 6 weeks. Last thing I want to look at is the stratospheric temperatures. I can't really go into this in too much detail. I'll probably have to do a video about this, or just about this really. But what we're looking at here is the temperature in the stratosphere. There's some evidence that when we get warming in the stratosphere, which is really when we're above this grey line, this is the average stratospheric temperature. When we're above this in winter, there is some evidence that does help to promote blocking across the Arctic. Consequently, when the temperature is below average in the stratosphere, when we've got a very cold stratosphere, that can help to promote a strong polar vortex and also a lot of low pressure over the pole, which then promotes westerly winds and keeps us mild in the mid-latitudes. Anyway, for the moment, the stratospheric temperature is very much around where it should be. It is cooling, of course. It is cooling over the Arctic. It should be cooling, but we're around where we should be. No sign of any warming going on in the stratosphere yet. No sign of anything particularly cold happening in the stratosphere yet either, but it's early days and the stratosphere will be more important to look at really from November. There's about a 4 to 6 weeks lag really between warming and cooling of the stratosphere and the weather, the pressure belts down on the surface. So really we'll be looking at the start of November for the winter period, December onwards. The stratospheric temperature in the start of November will become more important for the winter weather. That's how it's all developing anyway. We're very much where we should be, I think, really at the moment. We've got the ENSO still very uncertain, but really the two main drivers, the PDO and the AMO, very certain what's happening with them. It's cold PDO, warm AMO. In terms of the solar cycle, it's what we're expecting. It's a very weak solar maximum. And in terms of the ice, well, the ice is coming back, but snow cover is increasing as well. A little bit down still on snow cover from where we should be, and a lot down on ice, of course. It was a dreadful melt season, but it's starting to get its act together now. But the stratosphere, again, we're about where we should be at this time of year, and the stratosphere will become more important anyway from November onwards. Hope you enjoyed the video. Come back in a week or so's time when I'll be doing the model roundup, the seasonal model roundup, to see what the seasonal models are predicting for the winter. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.